Olusegun Obasanjo. But one thing I wanted to ask is about his book that he put together. Did you touch base with his book and what inspiration the whys of the book? Because I heard some theological aspects of his life was being put into that book.
I didn't write the script.
Okay.
You get it? So I don't know if Prof. Yema did all of that. Do you get me now? But I just give directions and I said, look, this is what I want to focus on, the spirituality of it all. Do you get me now? So I don't know if he got some information from those books. I don't know. But they sat down.
How did you think of the theme, spirituality?
Because I know these things. Yes, I know these things. It's not because I'm a juju man, but if you look a little bit more carefully, you see these things. But people don't see these things. It's not normal that an IBB and an Abdulsalam Abubakar will be both orphans. Do you get me now? From almost the same town and end up as heads of state. Later. It's not normal. It's not ordinary eye.
Wow.
Do you get me now? It's not ordinary eye. It's also not ordinary eye that Awo tried to commit suicide and resort to London. And Zeke tried to commit suicide and resort to America. At almost the same time.
You now know we are going to be looking at one of these two next week.
Do you get it? So it's not normal. So when you look at Obasanjo's life, do you get me now? Obasanjo's life, everybody can see. It's not normal. It's not ordinary eye. Do you get me now? So there's a civil war. Do you get everybody on the war? Particularly, Black Scorpion is one at the war front. Do you know that? Do you get me now? And then the moment they now posted Obasanjo to the war front, the war end. Now him come, receive Ribe. Do you get? So some people have said, what did he really
What did he really do?
That people don't fight war finish, come back, go now he come collect Ribe. You know what I'm saying? Then he has always not wanted to be anything.
What?
Yes.
He never dreamt to be
He
president?
never wanted to be anything. He was just a happy-go-lucky guy. The only thing he ever wanted in his life, some people have said, is the third term, which he keeps on denying till he died in his grave. And that's the only thing I didn't get. So when Murtala was killed, we've heard stories that he tried to run away. He wasn't interested. But it was foisted on him. Do you get?
Right.
Now, when he became civilian president, now, when Abacha wanted to kill him, Abacha came out and said he wanted to be a Baptist pastor.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That's the theological aspect of his.
So he bought a bus because the first man that came to visit him in the prison when it was announced that Abacha died was a Baptist preacher from America, an American Baptist preacher, who was the first that came into the cell to meet him and prayed for him and now made a prophecy that you will rule this country.
Wow.
Yes. That man made prophecy to him that you will rule this country. And he said, what's wrong with this, Baba? Do you get me? That I just escaped death with do you get? So he came out, do you get me now? And he bought a bus. I wanted to be a roving preacher.
Pastor.
That was when the generals now came to meet him in Ota.
Wow.
To say, you are going to be the candidate for PDP. And he said, no, I don't want. Do you get me now? So those things are not. So when I want to tell the story, I need to tell you from that. People, young people, present-day leaders must begin to see these things differently. So these people have been ordained to rule us for good or for bad.
Wow.
And the way they have lived their lives is totally different from the way we live our lives. The way they see things is totally different from the way we see things. The kind of decisions they take is very different from the kind of decisions that we take. And that's why part of the story is for us to also identify these kinds of people in their youth and nurture them.
In today's world.
In today's world. Yeah, so there's some people, yes, I was giving a talk to Smudge.
Joseph Edgar, the Duke of Somolu, is in the studio, and we're talking about life and times and the monumental, interesting stories, actually, real life issues about Chief Olusegun Matthew Okiki. Beyond the spirituality, and I know your focus was the spirituality, but you know, interesting things about what's the relationship between him and his mother and father, and did he have siblings? You know, or I know he has siblings, but you know, how were the relationship between him and his siblings? Because people like that sometimes they just stick out like a sore thumb. So I wonder about that.
No, but so I think he had a very beautiful relationship with his mother. But they were under severe, strenuous economic hardship.
Like you said,
You said they were simple
peasants. And that's why you see that the stress between him and Olusegun, it's very apparent. Yes, because those ones were elites. So Olusegun, the Soyinkans and the Anikulapo, and the Ransome Kutis were cousins. Do you get? Yeah. So they were very well brought up. Do you get me now? So they went to England very early, did all of that.
He came from nothing.
So that's why they don't understand why so much prominence. Do you get me?
From nowhere.
From nowhere. And that's why even the sighting of that Obasanjo library is a problem for this other side, because that's the first thing you see when you enter Abeokuta.
Did you ever ask him why he decided to build the library? I'm just curious.
No, but so he's always been very expansive in his thoughts.
Okay.
You get, and then he's an intellectual. He has more PhD. He has more children PhD than anybody in this country.
Sorry, sir, can you repeat that?
He has more children with a PhD than anybody in this country.
Obasanjo.
Yes. He has more children. He's the one that will not get PhD. First class. He has more brilliant children than. And that's how. And that's the twist of fate. Do you get?
Because he didn't exactly get an education.
These other ones, do you get? They had all of that. You see, where the children can compare with this other one that didn't
had
have
nothing.
all of that. You get, so this one has not bred first class intellects.
Joseph Edgar, you have to answer this question.
Yes.
I don't know if you've noticed, but there's this thing that people talk about all the time, that the rich children or rich people's children, there's always that one set that is very well to do, that has sense, and then they beget a useless child, and then after that useless child now begets a wise child. And
so
then,
it's like a.
do you believe in that? Do you think?
Let me shake the table.
Shake the table.
So there's a tribe in this country. I don't know their names.
Okay.
If you look very well at that tribe, I don't know their name. They usually lose their first child.
Huh?
Yeah. Either his first child will die or his first child will be mumu.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Very prominent tribe in this country. So there's a saying that maybe they sold that one, that first
They
child.
sold the first child
for all of that wealth and all of that. It's yes, maybe 2 out of 5 very prominent families in this very prominent tribe. You will see either that first child is gone, dead, or is a drug addict, or something.
Amounts to nothing.
Nothing. Yes, usually the second child that
Would
now, and then that first child will be locked up somewhere, and you never even know that person exists. So go and look at it very well. You will see that it's usually the second child, the third child, or the first daughter that carries
the entire family.
That's on that side. But on this other side you're talking about now, I just think, you know how poverty breeds discipline. You get, and how, so that for example now, I hawked bread in Somolu.
You did?
Yes, now. My father lost his job. My father loses his job every 7 years. Every 7
What?
years. Yeah, every 7 will be poor again. Every 7 will be poor. I said, okay, what's going on?
Wait, is this a fact?
No, yeah, fact.
every 7 years?
Every 7 years, my father loses his job. Every 7 years, lose his job. So we'll be okay for 7 years. And if I got to a point where we're getting there again.
Are you serious?
Wait. Why are you called Joseph? Because I see Egypt. Joseph. 7 years. Are you following me? You're spiritual man.
Not spiritual too, are you? You do play on me.
Oh.
Yeah. So I hawk bread. I hawk bread to survive. I hawk bread to pay my younger one's school fees. Do you get me now? So my daughter, the other was having a fight with my daughter, and she was like, "Oh, she wants to go to a master." I can't afford it. Do you get? I mean, you have the first degree. You get? You joined this. You went to the UK when pound was 200, 100 naira per a pound or something. Now price 2,000. Do you get? So we have struggled to make you.
Give you the first education.
Degree, you get? I'm not talking how she go out and start paying for master. I not do. And then she goes into a huff, and then she's crying, and then she's ventilating, and then so it's not done. Like, what are we fighting over here now? There are people who are in Lasso. Do you get? There are people who can't even afford to even go to that Lasso. So we are fighting over. I'm even saying, that work for like a year or two, and then we can split it.
Yeah.
So she's spoiled to that extent.
Yeah.
Do you get me now? Because of the upbringing.
But that's your
Do you
favorite
get me now?
child.
But me, when I was that age, I was in Somolu hawking bread.
Different generations.
Yeah. So if someone else says to me that time, you get cry with UI. So that's that time say between Lasso and UI, you know, I'll grab it.
Of course.
Because that's luxury to me.
Yeah.
You get, but this one now, our problem now is I don't understand why you can't pay for a master's. So you see why, to answer your question already, so this our own generation now will most likely fail because it doesn't have that
acumen.
Like you said, poverty breeds discipline.
Yeah, discipline. It doesn't have that grit.
Yeah.
Do you get me now? Because even as you're having talks, she's crying. She's crying. Do you get? But I can't cry for my father. He will beat me the more. Why are you crying? You're not the man. What are you crying for? Are you seeing now? So that's what happens to those where you see that generation that says, "Oh, I don't want my child to go through what I went through." Do you get me now? Eventually,
unlikely to
spoiling those ones. Then these ones that are spoiled. They say, "Oh, I suffer. My child will not suffer. They will not breed disciplined people." That's what they be like that.
That is quite insightful if you ask it. Yes, of course. Obasanjo is the center of conversation right here.
It sounded like someone from speaker.
We are on YouTube. Don't forget, we're on YouTube. It's Super FM Lagos, and I'm on Instagram Live at Chioma BBB. And you're watching all the madness go on. How does anybody cope with you, Joseph Edgar?
Me?
Yes.
Ashanza?
Yes. Because I have always wondered, you are not a normal person.
I just had this question this morning with somebody, and honestly, go through is that there's that part of me that I think only 4 people have seen in this life.
Did you just say honest to God truth?
Yeah.
But go on.
That's how you know he's old. This from another generation.
Yes, man. You know, so when I'm in peace, so very few people put me in that place. So I'm very, very quiet, boring. If I even believe the same person, I'm boring.
I agree.
I'm boring as hell. Do you get? I can read. I used to read a lot of those days. Read. So it's very easy to cope with me because when I'm not in public like this, you get me now? I'm just inside that hole. Look for trouble.
So you can join in on the conversation because we see someone has been trying to call us for a bit. 0705 690097. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hope it's not someone money.
Are you owing anybody money? Joseph Edgar, are you owing somebody money?
No, I blend you.
Okay. So we're wrapping things up right now.
We are.
We've been talking about Olusegun Obasanjo, the former.
No, call his full name. It's
Forgive me,
important.
don't be
After we
angry.
found out his name is Matthew.
We've been talking about Chief Olusegun Matthew Okikiola Ogunboyi Aremu Obasanjo and his life and times as portrayed by the Duke of Somolu Productions
Foundation.
and by the Duke of Somolu Foundation, and in person of the Duke of Somolu going to hunt for this particular story around him. Before we leave, if there's anything you want someone to take away from this entire conversation about Obasanjo, what would it be?
So there's many parts to the man.
Yes.
Do you get? So there's not just one thing like that. So I think it's for people to go and read about this person. Do you get me now? And take what parts that concern you. Do you understand me? So but for me, it's doggedness. Do you get? It's doggedness. Yes, it's doggedness. So he's gone through all sorts. Do you understand? And he always comes up.
A conqueror.
So he never ever gives up. I think that was why he gave us the support he gave us, because he saw that first for us to even get him to accept. And then after that to go and look for the funds. It was a lot of money in that period we were looking for. I think Obasanjo cost us about 30-some million at that time. And then remember one story, you get, where the play was to happen on a Tuesday, on his birthday in Abeokuta. And hadn't raised enough money. I didn't have enough money. And then this was on Wednesday or Thursday. I was expecting money from a state government. I don't call it a state government. And then the chief of staff now calls and says, "Oh, guys, not signing again." The guy not do again. So, and I said, no, you can't tell me that because you've told me that he will do.
Yeah.
That you can't call me 4 days to the play and tell me that you will
It's
not.
not possible anymore.
Do. So what am I supposed to do? You get, we'll do this play. And I said, well, the guy said it's not.
Interested.
So, there and then I now called Baba. No, I now called Baba's person and I said, see what they're telling me. Or I said, come to the house. You know. So as I was going back to the house, I think that chief of staff, when he saw that I had called, so he must have called his principal to say, this man has gone to report you. Did you get me now? So my phone was ringing. He was calling me back, you know, but I was so downcast that I didn't take his call, you know. So as I got to the gate of the Obasanjo library, they just announced COVID.
No way.
So they had just found out the first COVID person in Ewekoro, Ogun State. I don't remember when I begged us a few minutes.
Away from Ewekoro.
That they might shut down. It's just like, oh God, first I didn't have the money. Second, COVID has come again. Do you get? So I just got into his house, and they were all talking COVID. And don't forget that this is early days. Nobody knows.
Yeah, what it really
what's going
was.
on. And so he was sitting there, you know. So he now said, come. So I went to him, and he now said, I heard that this man says he's not going to give you money. I said, yes, sir. He now said, I want a bidder.
Hey.
Sir?
They don't born you well.
They don't born her. So and I said, are you going to call him? He said, me? Call him? Never. Let him try it.
Wow.
You get me now? And then, and I said, Baba, but don't you are Baba. Me, I'm
only a young boy.
Hey, this is what you're saying now. It's only for you. Do you get that? Please help me just say, you will never call the man, and that let the man try himself. Do you get me now? So I came out, and then I just saw all the missed calls from the chief of staff, and let me just call. And I said, come, where are you? I said, come back. Let's check ready for you.
Is that spiritual or what? Is that spiritual or what?
That's doggedness. That's not spiritual.
Doggedness.
That's doggedness. So I went back and I got the check. You know, and then on Tuesday, the whole was filled to the brim. You know, because he has a theater in his library. I think that should go. Yeah, that sits over 1,000 people. Place was filled to the brim, and then children from his former school where he attended came, and then his best friend in primary school, in secondary school, was in attendance, and then he did something quite stupid. Yeah, stupid. Yeah. The first few scenes of the play, you know, so he just batter drums and then he forgets himself that it's a live play, and then he jumps up and starts dancing and spoiling the rhythm of the actors on stage.
No way.
And then nobody's going to go and tell Baba and say,
stop dancing.
Go and sit down. So I went to his wife and I whispered to his wife and I said,
tell Baba to stop.
So she
pulls him down and sits down.
You know, and then each time there's
dance.
He's a happy man.
Yeah, he will jump up again. So I had to the director that, you know something, just let him flow.
Put him in the play.
Obasanjo is somebody that we can never finish talking about.
I know.
So he jumped on stage like 4-5 times during that.
And it was his birthday. I mean, you'd excuse the birthday, but
yeah.
I like that you also mentioned something about us as the younger generation paying attention to the little details, especially in our lives.